What is up? Hopefully, my mic is live. I've been having some technical difficulties today. Let me know in the comments if you guys cannot hear me. I apologize. This fancy schmancy mic, which I wish I could show you, is not working. So the AirPods are going to have to do today. All right, let's get right into it. I'm going to be doing a property analysis. I've been doing a lot of these because it is so important. There's so many people that are sitting on the fence and want to get into Airbnb and make money and make passive income, but they never pull the trigger. It's always interest rates are too high, purchase prices are too high. I'm going to wait till the next president. It's always something. So uh, the finding the deals is the hardest part. The hosting and all that's easy. Like you learn that as you go. I've got Notion articles and all this free content out there to help with that. This is always the part that people get stuck in. So I'm going to go and review a property live with you guys and give you a behind the scenes of like what I look for and what I don't look for. So without further ado, let's jump right in. Drop your comments. Any questions you guys have on anything hosting, investment, STR related, let me know. And let's get right into it. All right, I'm gonna share real quick, and I think there's one thing that I need to pull up. And if you guys didn't join in last week, I did essentially AirDNA sent out their best investments, and I rank them. And there was actually one on the list that wasn't a bad investment. I would feel comfortable buying into that one. But all right, so this property right here actually got sent to me maybe 3 weeks ago. I looked for it for a potential client, ended up not pulling the trigger on it, didn't meet their goals. And another thing that I'm going to go through live today, but I want to just kind of shed some light on this property. This property is for sale. It's been for sale. It's a pricey property. It was right at a mill. And this ties into actually last week's live because there's like, to look at a property, there's the quick math, like back of the napkin math, which I actually went through last week's live stream and training. The 15% rule. I created it. I've never heard anybody else say it, but it's essentially the AirDNA needs to be at least 15% of the purchase price. So easy math. If a property is listed for $1 million, it should make 150 in gross rents immediately off the gate. If it only makes 75, I'm probably stopping, not even looking at that property in general. So the 15% rule, super easy, back in the napkin. So that's the easy way, the quick, easy way. Just plug in the numbers and look at the purchase price. There's no math that goes into it. Now, if something is like a 14% or a 13, like I'm still going to look into that a little bit more, just because I know if we design it well and we add amenities that we can probably push it over that 15% rule. So it's a hard and fast rule, but if you also if you get the purchase price lower, like if you get 50 grand off the purchase price, that probably pushes it up to a 15% rule as well. So this property right here, really freaking cool property. Like I'll just go through the photos real quick. It's listed for 104 days. So been on the market for quite some time. It's lakefront in Belmont, technically. But it's got this really cool house right here with a pool, which I freaking love pools. Like I thought about this one. And then you also have this like guest house over here. So this, and then I'll go through kind of the AirDNA numbers and substantiate. But I want to get a feel of the property just so whenever I look at AirDNA and the comps, I know like which ones are the closest ones. So I'm going to kind of scroll through these pretty quickly. And so 2,300 square foot. It's a 4, I think 4, 3.5. I mean, this is this is huge right here. I'm thinking like pickleball court, obviously basketball. Like you could do a ton right here. Like parking is never going to be an issue here. So pretty cool house. You got like a little dock over here. You got another area over here, and yeah, we'll kind of go through these. And technically, it's on the river. It looks like a lake, but I think that's technically the river before it gets to the lake. Decently renovated, chopped up kitchen. I don't love this wall here. And I would like a bigger table. If this is going to be 4 bedrooms, we're probably going to sleep 10 to 12 to maybe 14 guests. So I want to have space to seat all those people as well. You don't want to be eating in shifts. It does kind of open up here to the living room. Looks renovated here. It's a decent looking kitchen. I'm gonna do this rapid fire just to get to the projections and explain why I would or would not invest in this property. Once again, if you have questions on any of this, drop it down below. I am an open book, and I like to be a resource that I didn't have whenever I first started. All right. So this is. Let me kind of make sure I'm on the same page. This is. I'm thinking bedroom number one, if I'm not mistaken. Technically an office. So let's just count these. That'd be one. So this would be two. Looks like a pretty big bedroom right here. Little entryway. This is kind of weird. What that is? Oh, this might be the extra house. I think this is the extra house. So this is a finished basement. Looks like this is the extra house. A lot of open windows. A lot of natural light in here, which I love. And then once again, like I'm looking at it from like renting both of them. If somebody is in an interesting situation where they can like live in the primary house and rent out the secondary house or vice versa, that changes the numbers, obviously. I'm viewing this as like the entire compound is a rental property. All right, so that now we're back to the original main house. You can see by the pool. And the back deck here. So pretty secluded. Like you've got a decent amount of fencing here, which is important. Pretty good view of the river slash lake as well. This is one of the money shots right here. Deck definitely needs some work. It looks like, but good bones. Good bones for sure. I don't know about the retaining wall. Obviously, if you're gonna put an offer in, do due diligence there. But one thing I'm looking at is look at this little like pergola thing right here. Hopefully, you guys can see that. This is freaking cool right here. This little wooden deck here, and this is the extra house. So I honestly really like this house. Like I'd probably live there. From a rental perspective, once again, completely different set of parameters of underwriting. This is really cool. This is where I would put the hot tub. You got string lights. You might need to redo some of this, but like this has really good bones, and you get a freaking sweet view with. I mean, you get almost like a peninsula level view with this. So this is really cool here. I mean, you could build like a little bar down here. Like you could go wild and crazy here. I wish there were a little more photos of that down there. But as you can see, let me kind of zoom in a little bit. No, it doesn't really work. You can see like it connects to the pool. You got some stairs down here. Probably need a little gravel area here, but then that gets to like the shots here. You actually have like a little another spot here that you can get in. But this is very like peninsula feel, fully not peninsula, but very close here. Looks like you got a little small deck down here. You could get creative as well. So really unique piece of property. Like I really like this thing. From a I'll live there, and I mean it's a unique aspect. So all right. So without further ado, let's get into the revenue numbers. So AirDNA updated this a little bit. I think it's under the rentalizer over here. I'm actually going to collapse this down just to make it a little bit more user friendly. So whenever I first put this in, it said like maybe 40 grand, 30, 40 grand, which is nowhere near what this property should actually do, given the right management. But I'm going to kind of go through the comps and kind of show you exactly what I think this property can do and will do based on some data here. So For the I think you actually have to buy AirDNA to customize the comps, but I'll just kind of show you the 5 closest that I found here, and then I'm not probably not gonna go through all of them. You click this little button up here, you can actually customize them, and then you can start to do the filtering down here. So what I did was, I think I filtered on 4 and 5 bedrooms, and then that narrows it down, and then as you zoom out, you get the available comps down here. So I went ahead and added the ones up here. This one being the top comp, that is actually mine. Top 75 in Charlotte. Let's go. And then I added a couple more here, which I'm going to kind of briefly show you what these look like. This is lakefront, nice, really nice property, doing about 120, looks like. This one is not lakefront. This is more in Belmont, but more of like a luxury model. No real amenities outside of this outdoor area. So this one has a pool, nice in Belmont. I think it's a 4 bedroom, about 107. So a little over 6 figures there. And then this one right here, probably my least favorite comp, but actually, this is I thought I removed this one. This one is not yeah, this one is not a comp, actually. Let me go in and adjust this, and I'll kinda show you what that looks like. So you literally just find it and then click the little trash icon, and, it actually updates the numbers here. So this confidence score is really cool. We only have a couple comps in here. We only have 4 comps in here. So as you tier up the comps and add more, the confidence score goes up because it gets more data to judge. Let me actually, so this one right here, and as you hover over these on the right hand side, you can actually see them where they're at on the location. So like being a local expert is not needed, but it definitely helps because I know, for example, like Belmont, this is a little honey hole, right? Being close to the city is important, but like once you kind of get over here, then that's going to drop your revenue significantly. Same thing over here, but you've also have a river slash lake going through here as well. So comparing like a city property to a lakefront property, it's apples and oranges. So this makes these markets a little bit harder to do. Um, for example, like our subject property has a pool and a lake. So that's why this property is super unique versus all the other ones do not, they only have one or the other. They're either like pool only with no lake, or like luxury with no lake or no pool. So that's why this part is the hardest part of the entire equation. Um, so that's why we on all of our projections we give a range of like, okay, I think it'll, on the low end do this, on the high end do this. And depending on what property we actually get, that determines the revenue. Let me actually look at this one real quick. I don't Oh, this is the 5. Okay. They got the photo tour, which I despise. Um yeah, okay. This house is huge. I remember this one. So this one is I don't think it has either. Doesn't really have any amenities, but it's a monster house. Like this freaking bathroom is probably bigger than my entire house. But very dated, very classical type style. I mean this one honestly, as I'm looking at this, I think this property could be I mean, this thing's only doing 92, 5 beds as well. I think this could probably be the shining star in this entire comp set, with some amenities. Yeah, I mean, it's been listed a year, 92. I'm gonna add this because this is close enough. So, this one was yeah, this one was right here. So actually very close to mine, right down the road, actually. Interesting. But not lakefront. So that's a big one there. So as you get more comps, like now we're into the high confidence score, and let me update this. So from a revenue perspective, AirDNA, after hand selecting them, originally it said like 40 grand, which I knew was way off. Um, so about 114. I think it's possible. I think it's on the lower end if you get somebody that like knows what they're doing and really goes through this with the fine tooth comb and like adds amenities and really pimps this place out. So I think this is probably on the lower end, just knowing what we've done in this market with similar amenities. Mine there does not have lakefront access; it just has pool, hot tub, and game room. So I think probably 110 is going to be on the lower end of the property, and I think the upper end is probably in the 140, maybe 150 range. Um, because it is so unique. Usually, a pool adds about 30 grand in gross revenue, and the lake's a crap shoot, honestly. Probably another 25. So I think with this, it's tailored a little bit with those amenities, but I think probably the high end is maybe 140. I think if you really, really hit momentum, get good reviews, I think you could probably do about 150 a year. So let's say on the higher end, we're at 150 grand. The purchase price is 950. So if this was at nil, that would be right at the 15% rule. So take the AirDNA revenue. So let's say 150 grand divided by $1 million is 0.15, aka you move the decimal to the right, 15%. So that's the back of the napkin math on the high end of this. Now, let's say on the low end, let's say about 110. I know this is obviously not going to meet our 15% rule, but it's about 11% on the lower end. So we're looking at 11 to 15% gross ROI range. Um, so if this property was priced, if you could get this property at like 850, that would for sure make this property a lot more attractive. Now, keep in mind, I've only looked at this thing digitally. Photos can be touched up. I mean, look at this like Instagram sky. Like this is not the real sky. So who knows? The next step, if it checks the virtual box, then we move to the okay, let's visit it in person and do our like realtor duties of okay, is the foundation good? How's the roof? What's the HVAC? Like big ticket items. Like one thing that I saw in here was where's my photo? Is the pool liner good? How's the pump? Like when was this thing built? What's the drainage system here? But this right here, I think this is probably, maybe a 50 to $100,000 renovation in like just new decking and new amenities here, not including like furniture or anything like that. So that is going to count towards your like closing costs, purchase price, your upfront investment versus like your mortgage and all that. So all that to say, I will put this. I wasn't planning on doing this, but I'll kind of show you guys a little bit more details on how we underwrite this from an entire perspective. Where's my template? Here's my template. And once again, this template is available to everybody in the Side Hustle Host school group. It's completely free. Like I give it away. Like once again, want to be the North Star um, for this place. So let me actually bring this to the purchase. So we've got different tabs down here at the bottom. Since this will be a potential purchase, I'm just gonna tweak some of these numbers in here on the fly. I did not plan this, but what is this thing listed at 949? Oh gosh, did I not? I'm logged into the wrong account. There we go. All right, purchase 949, 20% down, closing costs, interest rate. Honestly, interest rate is we're dipping into like the sixes, baby. I freaking love it. So this is a 4, 3.5, actually 2,200 square foot. That was, and I'm kind of flying through here. If people have questions, let me know. So, utilities, I don't know, maybe 450, 500 a month. Cleaning and supplies. This is, where is my cheat sheet? Cleaning and supplies. What is a 4? Oh, it's a 4.4. Okay, that helps. One hot tub, no extra living spaces, no sauna, no grill. So we're probably cleaning price. We're probably about 270. We on average clean about 4 times a month. Sometimes it's 6. We've got, super, super shorter stays. Sometimes it's one where we have a month long, 2-month long stay. Lawn care actually will probably be a little bit higher here, seemingly maybe 75 a cut. All right. So all this taken into account, this is actually with our management fee at 25%. Um, Once again, if you're a self-manager, like maybe this makes sense. Let me actually put 0 in here. Yeah, if you're a self-manager, this one actually will probably cash flow $1,500. So all the upfront cost, um, your total all in is about 250. That's down payment, closing cost, interest rate at 7%, 40 grand renovation budget. Honestly, renovation you probably need another 50. So you're probably all in maybe 300,000. Put this a little bit bigger for you guys. I don't know if you can see it. So you're all in maybe 300 grand. So cash on cash, your cash flow 1,500. This is with no management too. If we put in our management, oh, blanked out the formula, didn't I? Let me undo. Okay, there we go. Put the 50 grand renovation back in. With our management, yeah, this is a negative cash flow property. Mortgage is very high. But let me show you kind of a fun part of this. Let's say you put 30 grand or 30% down. We go to a 0 ROI. And let's say you put 40% down. Yeah, you're still only making, 7 grand a year, something like that. Let me go back here and put this about 25%. So yeah, this with like self-manager for sure, this one cash flow. Only about a 6% ROI. I would like at least a 10%, maybe 12% after all expenses. But let's say you really trim down. I mean, let's just say you only have 20 grand in renovation budget. Then it bumps it up to a 7%. So there's so many levers. That's where like visiting the site, visiting the house on site, really, really makes the difference here because that's gonna shed a whole lot more light on like actually what this place would do. But the biggest lever of them all is not on the expense side. It's on the all the profit is made on the high end, on the top line, on the upper range. So this is once again, guys, this is at the 110. So this is the lower range of this property. Let's say we really pump it up. Say we do 130 a year. This, with once again no management fee, this gets you to about cash flow 3,500 a month, about a 13% ROI. So that makes a renovation at 50 grand a little bit more feasible because you're profiting 3,500 bucks a month, about 42 grand a year if you're self managing. Now, if you really, let's just say you're freaking dialed in, you know Price Labs, like you know this market like the back of your hand. Let's say you really pump it up to 150 grand. This one turns into about an 18% ROI. So it can work for the right investor. It really depends on the revenue. That's the biggest indicator here. And that's like that's it. Like that is the biggest lever to pull. That's why I preach so much with our clients and our students is like use amenities, like use good design. It will pay for itself over and over again if done well. If you do it cheap, then you will pay twice. So that's kind of how this is written. That was a lot of freaking info, and there's so many levers to tweak and pull. But the gross revenue is going to be the biggest lever up here. Once again, this is free. Like, go take our template, run with it. Anything in green is editable. Join our school community. If you're not sure, find me on Instagram, Caleb W. Shore. I will send you the link. It should be down below if I set this thing up. But on the lower end, negative cash flow with management, like with renovations, all that, and lower end. But on the higher end, I mean, let's say you self-manage this place. Let's say you really hit the peak, 150. Could probably do more than that, to be honest with you, just from the uniqueness of this house. And let's say you're able to get this for 900 grand. This quickly becomes a solid investment. But the management fee is a big line item in this whole thing. So, questions on any of that before we wrap this thing up? Once again, I go into a lot of this detail because everybody just gets analysis paralysis, and there's a lot of deals that you can make work. It's just for the right investor, right? Like the self manager for this one is like this is a a pretty solid deal. Now, I would argue that can a self manager really get this thing to pump up to 150? Probably not. That's like the experienced doing this full time, not just your hobby investor. Honestly, probably like 110, I think would be feasible for somebody that like has a little bit of experience. So a much lower ROI from that perspective. But yeah, it's a lot of numbers. Hopefully this didn't confuse you guys. And I will kind of put our template back to where we had it. Make sure I didn't break anything. Yeah, okay. I think that's where we left it. Yep. All right. So this is an echo. So take it and run with it. Let me know if guys have any questions. This if I had like a fund or something, I would just buy all these places, all these unique places. I mean, here's your game room down here for the 5 people that are still watching. I don't think we ever got back to the original bedroom count. So I'm wondering if they even are counting this. Probably not as a bedroom. It's probably 3 in the main house and 1 in the guest house. So what questions do you guys have before we jump? This has been pretty fun. One thing to notice here, this place has been on the market for 104 days. So I think the average right now is about 45 to 60 days. Last time I checked, somewhere in there, depending on the price point. This one being, jumbo loan territory. This is typically sits on the market a little bit higher, a little bit longer. Sorry. One thing here, actually, this property is very close to the airport, and I think it's too loud, honestly. The airport's right over right here. So you get a lot of downwind sounds from this property. Once again, very unique spot, but I probably wouldn't buy it just from the It's nice to be close to an airport, but you don't want to hear the airport. So um, that was my main takeaway from this one. Once again, I looked at this property a couple I don't know, a month or so ago. And for all those reasons, that's why I didn't advise our client to pursue it. But for the right person, might be a good fit. If you end up buying this, let me know. I'm happy to. Phew, maybe extend this out a little bit far. Happy to meet you at the property and show you exactly what I would look for this property. But cool. All right, let's wrap up. Thank you guys for watching. You guys are freaking rock stars, and I will see you